I have two questions for you guys. And listeners, you just got a exclusive breakdown at Spence's live experience of the Kanye show. So just try to envision what he was going through because that's a lifetime moment if you're a fan of hip hop, rap, however you want to describe it. And I think
Facts.
that with moments like that, you definitely have to let whoever attended these events express how they feel and express what they saw because that it's very inspirational in many aspects, not just in the form of music, but it could just also be in the form of business or charisma or just anything. And I just think that it's real dope that he got to share his experience. Now, my two
Thanks.
questions related to the Kanye thing is first, is there a stern prediction when this album is supposed to release? Because of course it was supposed to release the following day from the event, never did. It's supposed to release Saturday because it was supposed to be being mixed and mastered some more. It never did. Then there was another announcement saying, "Hey, it should be coming out August 6th." I don't believe it, so that's why I'm asking my question. Like, "Hey, what is the stern date?" Now, and my second question, because I'll let you guys really get your thoughts off with this, is I've seen something today. They're awaiting the release of Certified Lover Boy from Drake before they release their album.
I saw
So
that.
my question with that is, what album is going to do better, Certified Lover Boy or Donda? And I think this right here is the WrestleMania main event of rap albums this year.
So, before I get into your questions, and I'll answer them both. I'll say I listened to the event. I was sitting there streaming it from my phone. However I could, and the album didn't sound bad or anything. I thought it sounded decent. It's not the best album I ever heard, but it's far from the worst. And I think that it's better than Kanye's last two albums, is what I'll say. So I mean, I respect what he did. I think what he did was more artsy than a lot of people are going to give it credit for. Like I think a lot of people see it as somewhat of a Kanye being Kanye, but it's like, just think about what he did. Like, he went into a football stadium, didn't say a word, made a lot of money, and put out some music that we still haven't heard yet in album format. That's not something that people are just going around doing. You know what I mean? It's pretty damn impressive, actually. I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
while Spence was talking, he said that, and I don't know why I didn't think about it, but, this album being for his mother who passed, like, he probably had this album for a long time, and I'm not sure if y'all have ever tried to write an album for somebody who's passed away before. It's not necessarily easy. Not because you don't have the words to say, but just the way it sounds to you, it just probably doesn't sound. It probably will never sound perfect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like there's just not really a way to put those emotions and feelings and all those other type of things like pen to paper. Long story short, so.
Right.
That being said, to answer your question, me personally, if Drake's Certified Lover Boy and this album come out on the same day, that's gonna be interesting. Like I I think that they'll both be great sounding albums, but I would have to assume that Kanye would sell more. I think I was talking to Spence. Well, no, I'm sorry. No, I mean just hear me out.
I already
Just
know what you're doing. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Look, I'm not.
The
Here we go.
Drake hater. He is the Drake
I wasn't
hater,
even thinking about it.
listeners.
Nah, look at what Kanye's did though. Like he's built more anticipation for this album, you know what I mean, by doing just what Kanye West does, you know what I mean? Like I got to respect him for what he did because like I said, not a lot of people are doing it. I don't think a lot of artists, including Drake, could pull off what Kanye West did last week. You know what I mean? Not to that extent, you know what I mean? I'm not
I
saying
mean, no, I
uh,
agree with you. I agree with you because I think it just fits the Kanye character of like
exactly.
it, he can do something bizarre, but it's going to be normal because like, hey, this is just Kanye. Versus Drake, he might get booed for not performing a single song, and just he's just running around on stage. And so I see what you're saying with that.
Well, not
Well,
only that, but Drake, we see Drake like way more than we see Kanye's. What I'll say, you know what I mean? Kanye pops out, goes to Joe Rogan, it's a big deal. Kanye pops out, does this, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Because Kanye's not always popping out. Like now, I'm not saying we see Drake every day, but we see Drake enough to where like he doesn't have the mystique of Kanye, and I think that's fair enough to say.
No, that's. I think that's all subjective if you think about it. I think it just depends. Like if you talk about like music related things, then yeah, I agree with you because we do see Drake more often. But if we see Drake on Joe Rogan, I guarantee the internet would definitely talk about that shit.
No, of course. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that when Kanye pops out, it's always a big deal. Not saying that when Drake does it, it's not. I'm just saying that this is a little different because of who Kanye West is. Like you said, the character of Kanye, all the stuff. Like we don't know what to expect from Kanye. We're all gonna be watching our screens to see what he's gonna do, what he's gonna say, just all that. And I can't remember your second question, if I'm being honest.
Well, that you just answered the second question. The first question is, when do you think not Certified Lover Boy, but when do you think Donda will actually release?
I don't know. We'll see. That's my answer. Like, I don't know.
I agree with you in this one where I don't think Drake could do the same thing. And I say that only because I think most people look at Drake as a rapper, right? We look at Drake as a rapper and we look at Kanye as a artist more of, right? So anything that Kanye does, we look at it from anything that Kanye does, we've learned to look at it from an experimental point of view for the most part, right? Where if it's the whoopity scoop, poopity poop mess, or if it's even like a Yeezus album where even the way he rolled that album out where he just pulled up to a random spot in New York, I believe, and just did a random screening on like a random brick wall, right? And I think it was for like New Slaves. Like anything that Kanye does, we always understand I'll say this, his approach to him providing us with music, right, is normally looked at it through an artistic approach compared to Drake. Like Drake, and I think because of that, I think with Drake, if he was to go and stand somewhere, it would just look really weird nonetheless. That's just my opinion on like what you were saying, really. In terms of when I think it's going to release, it's a rumor that, like you said, like August 6th or like 2 weeks from now, something to that nature. I don't really know. Kanye is allegedly right now living in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium until he finishes the album. So who knows what that means? That could mean him being I don't really see him staying in that stadium that long just because financially it's dope, like from an ideal standpoint, but it's not. I don't really see that being something he'll do long term. So probably like a week or two. Hopefully he doesn't do. Hopefully he just doesn't do it in the wrong fashion where he ends up losing the hype around his album. And when it comes to the release for CLB, I don't know, man. I don't think he's really waiting for Drake. Allegedly, they've already patched things up.
Supposedly.
Yeah, allegedly, like they've patched things up, and even if they didn't, I mean, Kanye is the person we know as the living album person, right? The person that created that. There's nothing for him to say, okay, if Drake said something about me on his album after I released my album, I'll just add another song to the album, or I'll add another verse to a song on the album to diss Drake. Like, I don't know. I just don't put that past Kanye. So, but I will say this. The album that I will be ready for now that this was performed is because on Jay-Z's verse, he does hint that there may be a Watch the Throne too. So hopefully we get that, which is going to be very interesting when it comes to Jay-Z putting out albums and not being them not being solo projects for a while.
I'm excited for both Certified Lover Boy and Donda. I think those two are going to be the most anticipated rap albums of the year now. And shouts out to Kanye. I like to say he did it again to grab the attention of the fans and the listeners. So shouts out to him. But Kanye West wasn't the only one that had a big musical event this past weekend.